much as anything a president making the point that he is a president for whom red lines matter.
Yes, that's right. He had said after the chemical weapons attack that it crossed many, many lines, within about 24 hours, a day or two, he had ordered a strike against the airbase from where he said the chemical weapons attack was launched. And his cabinet secretaries and officials have been coming out and explaining the thinking behind that. And in essence, they're saying this is very much a response related to the chemical weapons attack. The Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, has just been quoted as saying this does not change our policy on Syria. It's very much a one-off directed at the attack carried out with the sarin nerve gas. He's also said that President Trump, the strike demonstrates that President Trump is willing to act when governments and actors cross the line. So they're making that point that if Syria crossed the line, the red line, then the Trump administration would respond. And drawing up the contrast, really, I would suggest, with President Obama, who set a red line and then did not respond with a military strike. Although at the time, Mr. Trump was very much in support of that. He very much didn't want Mr. Obama to intervene. Now, as president, he has a different approach to that, and also not only responding to the Syrian chemical weapons attack, but very much holding Russia to task. Mr. Tillerson has just also said that the attack showed that the Russians were either incompetent or complicit with the Syrians' use of chemical weapons, because they're the ones who had guaranteed that when the Syrians said they would give up their chemical weapons, they would do so, and obviously they didn't give up everything. So the U.S. officials and the administration have been making some fairly pointed criticisms of Russia and its role in backing the Syrian president, Bashar al-Assad.
And President Obama, of course, back in 2013, deciding not to intervene militarily because Russia had taken on that responsibility to remove chemical weapons, and clearly has not removed those chemical weapons. Is there any advance that could be made, given the strength of Russia in the region, to make that happen?
I can't really say at the moment whether there will be a new push by the UN or the agency that deals with chemical weapons to go after what the Syrians have, and whether the Russians would be willing under the circumstances to push the Syrians to do so. I think I'm not sure that was the goal of this strike. The goal of this strike was to register that the Americans will respond if something like this happens. And in fact, we have a response from the head of the National Security Council, General McMaster, who said this was not a small strike, but obviously the regime will retain a capacity to commit mass murder with chemical weapons beyond this airfield. And in fact, the regime has carried out at least 50 chemical attacks since 2013, when it agreed to get rid of its chemical weapons. So suggesting there that it sees an ongoing problem, not one that's going to be solved with another decision to disarm. And then just a few more quotes, Mike, from Mr. Tillerson, talking about the reasons or what was behind Mr. Trump's response. Well, first of all, he clarified that this was an entirely U.S. operation. It was not a coalition effort. But he also said that Mr. Trump did not respond emotionally, and that, as I said before, it was his decision to show that the government would react if lines were crossed.
And again, of course, I think he is the